Hi, Christina. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out if this light is better or not. Also, oh my god, why does this keep I oh my gosh. Do you guys hear that annoying noise? Hi Sky, hi. Oh my gosh. Is today gonna be one of those days where like everything is just thank you so much, Angela. Oh my god. Is today gonna be one of those days where everything is just super noisy on my behalf and it's really annoying and it pisses me off because sometimes that's the day that I have and it really, really bugs me. Like incredibly bugs me. Okay, I think this is the best kind of light for what's going on here. Okay. All right. Hi, I'm doing okay. Hello, guys. Good to see you all. Hi, Tammy. Pumpkin Pie Sky. Hi, Sky. Hi, Peter. Hi, Karen. Hi, everyone. Sorry if I missed your name. My phone was like flying all over the place. Yes, early today because I am. So today I have to be out in like an hour and 15 minutes because I am doing an interview with with someone at 4 p.m. Eastern, and you might know them, you might not know them. They are an English speaker. Hi. Oh, hi, Valen. Oh my God. Hi, Saint Valen. How are you? But yes, you might know them, you might not know them. They served in the armed forces of Ukraine in the 36th Separate Marine Brigade, to be precise. Juju, and I'm interviewing them in Italy. So I wanted to get the news in early so I wouldn't have to like, do that in the evening and have to like basically I don't want to like, I don't want to be I don't want to like do the news super late and stuff like that. Hi, Kevin. And so, yes, I'm going to be interviewing a person. And yeah, they served in the 36th Separate Marine Brigade. And I want to say they're a notable figure for the Ukrainian armed forces. A lot of people have heard of him. Hi, Taz. A lot of people know who he is. And I think this interview is going to be incredibly interesting and incredibly important. And yeah, and I'm really excited for it. I'm really excited to speak to him. I'm really excited to hear what he has to say. Thank you. Obrigada, Angela. And I am, so I am, running a bit like a squirrel in the wheel, a hamster in the wheel, whatever you want to, a rodent in the wheel. Oh, thank you so much. Whatever you want to call it. But basically, a little tiny home pet running in its like little tiny home cage, trying to do a ton of things. At the same time. Also, Veronica, you're a little too aware of everything, and I know that your guessing is very good, and I also know that you know things through Patreon. You know too much, Veronica. You know too much. But so yeah, on YouTube because stream times are a bit too late when I'm on morning shift. Ayla, how are you? And hi Taz, hi Sherry. Yeah, I know that Taz says that stream times are a bit too late when he's on shift. Thank you, Juju. But yeah, I get it. Lately, my schedule has been a little all over the place, and I'm very sorry, guys. I know that I kind of keep you, on your toes, and I just show up sometimes, and then I don't show up other times. Rather, like, it's kind of like a roller coaster right now. But sorry, bear with me. It's just that I'm doing a lot behind the scenes, and I'm trying to get all of it in, and I'm trying to make it all happen. So, ciao. So, yeah. I hear power was restored. Lauren says, Yulia, how's your family doing today? I hear power was restored in a lot of places. They're doing well. I was just talking to my mom, and she quasi yelled at me because I got Cine a little like sweater for Heroyam Slava. Hi, Gap. So I got Cindy like a little sweater, and I got Cindy like a blanket because it was at Kohl's on like super mega sale. I also got her a bed that was on super mega sale because she like destroyed her previous bed. And so I sent the photo to my mom, and she's like, "You are aware that you have a 4-pod brother now, right? Oh, I've got a Frenchie, and he needs this too. Why didn't you get it for him?" And I'm like, I don't know, because I wasn't aware he needs this stuff. so so I am. Wait, let me show you Cindy. She's like adorable right now. Cindy, come here. Hey, come here, Cindy. Okay, fine. Let me give her a treat. That way, she's gonna come towards me, and you guys can see her little sweater. Also, like if you want to get that sweater, it's currently $14 at Kohl's. If you would like to get one for your dog, I can send you a link on Instagram. I'm not gonna advertise them, but Senior, come here. Come here, little grumpkins. Hey, come here. Come closer. Come show off your little new sweater. Okay. But look at this. Look at how cute this is. Look at how cute this is. But it's like it's so oh my gosh, come here. Ah! It's so incredibly soft, and it's kind of like a blankie around Cindy at all times. She really likes stuff like that. Wait, Cindy, I'm sorry. I know I annoy you so many times, I know, but I just want to show off your new sweater. It's comfy, isn't it? Oh, look at that. I forgot to take these off. So yeah, this is Cindy's new sweater. She really likes it because it's like a blanket that's with her all the time. I got it like a size bigger than she needed it because I wanted her to just like kind of wrap up in it. But yeah, and my mom got a Frenchie like 2 weeks ago, literally. She didn't warn me about it by any means. She just sent me a photo and was like, hello. He's very adorable. I can show you some videos, guys, before we jump into the news. I want to start off on something nice today. I will show you. Want to start off with something nice today because news the past couple of days have been really, really, really disappointing. See, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing, little grumpkins? Okay. So this is the baby. His name is Bonnie. So apparently he really likes barking at himself in the mirror. Apparently he really likes staring in the mirror, and he loves that fish. He like runs all around that fish. He's very cute. He is an adorable little thing, except I wish my mom stopped calling him my brother because weird. But oh well. Okay, also hi Sasha. Hi Rue. Hi, everyone. Okay, so are we ready for the news? I'm gonna start off right away with the news today because I need to, I need to be able to fit it all in a time frame before. What is it? 2:23 right now. 3:30 is probably. 3:30 is probably when I need to go. Necklace. So Rue is asking where I got my necklace. So it's actually funny. Boa tarde, Olasi. This necklace says I love coffee, and I actually got it in Charleston at some little store. It was like one of the trinket necklaces, and this one is Goriana or Jean. I don't know how to properly pronounce the name of the brand, but it's something like that. Okay. I've had this for like 2 years now. I really love that necklace too. Thank you, Melissa. Cindy has an uncle, yes. Okay. A 17-meter long inscription, "I believe in the armed forces of Ukraine," was placed near the Motherland Monument in Kyiv. The letters are made of metal from the last batch of the Azovstal. I think it's incredibly symbolic. I know there are a lot of Ukrainians who are really pissed off about the fact that people are, like glorifying Azovstal and stuff like that, because Azovstal is owned by a billionaire in Ukraine. His name is Rinat Akhmetov, and he has participated in quite a bit of corruption, as a billionaire does. And there's like controversial stuff about him. But since the beginning of the invasion, he has been giving a lot of money for support of Ukraine, and he has been like really, he has been really helpful. And I'm not, as in like, I'm not trying to justify him by any means. I think that all billionaires have a lot of skeletons in their closet, and none of them are good, really. But the thing is, I don't like. I think that we should stop focusing on the fact that this is about Rinat Akhmetov. And nobody is really like, no one's glorifying Rinat Akhmetov, and no one's glorifying Azovstal because of him. It's rather like the symbolism of the people who had to go through Azovstal. And of course, like, we didn't choose where we didn't. It's not like it's because of Rinat Akhmetov that all of this happened. It's because these guys were cooped up at Azovstal, and Azovstal is a symbolic place, and a lot of the guys went through it. Whether you like Akhmetov or not, whether you respect him or not, whether you think he's an ass, whether you really don't like him, whether you, I don't know, absolutely despised him throughout his entire career. The thing is that Azovstal is a symbolic place, and Azovstal is a place where so much gore and awful stuff happened. And Azovstal is also the place where these amazing, incredible defenders of Ukraine have like showed themselves, and where they persevered, and where they held the defense of our country, and where they withstood for so long that Russians couldn't take Kyiv. And it's just, they are incredible. And it doesn't matter who owns Azovstal. Azovstal is just a beacon of hope now. So it's not about Akhmetov. It's not about any of that. It's about the symbolism. Okay. New Zealand imposed sanctions against 51 Russian oligarchs and 24 people in the occupation administration of the annexed territories of Ukraine. Among them is the name of Russian oligarch Alexei Abramov, co-founder and former chief executive of Evraz, a multinational steel and mining company. London, Portugal, Germany, Poland, Italy. Thank you all for coming out to support Ukraine. Here are some videos. Take a look. Thank you, Alexander. Hi, Joe. Good to see you. Rescuer in Zaporizhia, October 10th. This is what it looks like. Zaporizhia was shelled tremendously on October 10th, like most other cities in Ukraine. And, Zaporizhia was unfortunately a bloodbath, and Zaporizhia has been shelled every single day for the past at least month and a half now, and it's horrific. And it's not being talked about nearly as much as it should. And this is just a photo of a DSNS worker, like a rescuer, who is sitting there, and you can clearly see in his face that he is just broken from everything that he had seen. Oksana Leontieva was killed yesterday in Kyiv by a Russian missile. Oksana was going to work at the Okhmadit hospital. She was an oncologist, a bone marrow transplant specialist. She had been saving children's lives for 11 years. Hi, Naniria. This is Oksana. Okhmadit is the biggest children's oncological hospital in Ukraine. And she is a staff doctor who was working in the children's oncology department. It's so incredibly, incredibly upsetting. And it's so, so, so sad. So many people lost their lives on October 10th to the Russian terrorist attacks. And they were just, civilian people just going about their lives, going to work, just trying to be, really. The railway track of the Crimean Bridge a few days after the explosion. Yeah, that damage on the Crimea Bridge is incredibly, that steel melted so easily. It's very interesting, honestly, to sort of see from perspective of someone who is in that field, who is an engineer. Two of my mods are very, very interested to hear commentary from the engineer, because it genuinely looks like that steel just melted. Like it did not withstand fire at all. The damage to this bridge is incredible. Like, it's incredible from just being like an explosion and a fire. It just looks like it almost looks like it wasn't steel, as in, like, it's so damaged and it's so melted that it's kind of hard to believe that this is metal. Russia lost 3/5 of its offshore oil sales to Europe after it sent troops to Ukraine in February, according to Bloomberg. In the 4 weeks to October 7th, oil supplies to Europe averaged 630,000 barrels a day, compared to 1.62 million barrels before the invasion. Tankers carrying Russian oil now have to spend 10 times longer to deliver each cargo to India than it used to take to deliver cargo to Poland. Spontaneous protests, rallies in solidarity with Ukraine was held in Perth, Western Australia. So here's a very funny thing that I saw online the other day too, and it was like making me laugh to the point of no return. Russians stole a street surveillance camera in Ukraine in Liman, Donetsk region. And now its owner and blogger, Yan Hordienko, can see the broadcast from the house where the camera is now located. So here's the thing. They stole a street camera from this house in Liman, and they brought it back to Buryatia. And they installed that street camera from someone else's house in Ukraine indoors of their house in Buryatia. And the funny thing here is they didn't even try to make this camera work, so it serves no purpose. It just sits in their house because it doesn't, it's still tied to the phone of the original owner in Ukraine, so he can see everything that's going on in this people's house. That's first. Second, that they didn't even try to make it work. So this camera is just useless. It's just sitting in their apartment. But it's hilarious because this guy also happens to be a popular Ukrainian blogger. And so he's laughing so hard at this. And he's saying, should we make a show out of this? I will have guests come on and we will sit and comment on everything that's going on. Should we call it what should we call it? And basically he's just having the time of his life with this. So this is the person who stole the camera. This is the person who stole the camera. This is also the person who stole the camera. Also, the funniest thing of all of this is that the absolute funniest thing of all of this is that these people have an electric kettle on their table. You know how Ukrainians were telling you that Russians steal electric kettles, but they don't take the base part of the kettle that actually warms up the kettle? So you can see on their table, there is a kettle plugged into the outlet and it's missing the base. And it's just the best irony and the best, like, the best thing. It's like, it's Picasso's work. You can't make it up, It's just the biggest confirmation and the biggest they're like trolling themselves, basically. Thank you so much, Evan. That's really sweet. Oh, hi, Suzanne. Thank you. Erdogan and Putin may meet on October 12th in Kazakhstan. Dmitry Peskov said that the Russian dictator might discuss possible negotiations with Western countries, which in particular will concern Ukraine during a meeting with the president of Turkey. You know what's wrong with that? Why is there a president of Turkey and a president of Russia meeting together to discuss negotiations with the West about Ukraine, and Ukraine is not present at this? Stop meeting with Putin. Stop negotiating with him. It's such a slap in the face, because Ukraine said, we're not going to negotiate with a terrorist. We're not going to negotiate with a man who so far has broken every single one of his promises. We're not going to give in. We're not going to negotiate with this president. Zelensky said, we're ready to have a conversation with another president of Russia, with a different president of Russia, not with this dictator. So it's like, the world needs to stop. The world needs to stop going behind Ukraine's back and like figuring out some negotiations about the situation. About the situation in Ukraine. First of all, oh my gosh, there is a troll on Twitch that says, I don't even know what they're trying to say, but they're saying, but you're Russian after all. And it's like, honey, please don't offend me that way. I'm not Russian. I have nothing Russian in me. And I would genuinely be so incredibly upset for myself if I was Russian, because then that would mean that my history is theft, loot, and murder. And I'm Ukrainian. Thank you very much. Don't ever call me a Russian again, because that is offensive. That is disgusting. Disgusting. No, thank you. Do not call a Ukrainian person a Russian person ever again. No, not the same people. I have integrity, I have honesty, and I have will to fight for myself and my people, and you have none of that. And you've shown it over and over again. And my sources are cited as per, instead of protesting, Russians are fleeing. Instead of doing anything, Russians are complaining. So here is a cited source, and I am not hating on Russians. This is not hate speech. This is simple citation of facts that are empirical observations that are also factually proven. So how about that, social media? Anyways, this is how the Russians reacted to the massive missile attack on Ukraine on October 10th. All of these conversations are translated. I'm sorry. Can you remind me why Ukraine is not Russian, no hate? What do you mean? Can you remind me why France is not German, no hate? Can you remind me why Austria is not German? No hate. Can you remind me why the Netherlands are not Swedish? No hate. Can you remind me why Italy does not belong to Belgium? No hate. Can you remind me why Kazakhstan does not belong to Georgia? No hate. Can you remind me why Spain does not belong to Portugal? No, no hate. What? What? Why is Ukraine not Russia? Why is potato not carrot? Why is tomato not basil? Why is no, the thing is, this is not even a troll. Like, I know this person, they're on streams very often. Why is dog not cat? Why is horse not pig? What do you mean? Russians always say it's theirs. You have said the history before. Well, I say that I'm the owner of Tesla. Does that make me the owner of Tesla? Do I have to prove to you that I am? Does Elon Musk have to prove to you that I'm not the owner of Tesla? Not that I like Elon Musk. Oh no, but I'm telling you, I am a. I'm telling you, the penthouse on Fifth Avenue is mine. There is no base to this claim. I just want to go and take it because I want a penthouse. Why not? I'm just gonna go and annex John Lennon's penthouse on Central Park West because it's mine. I'm not gonna, oh my God, just go over the history, Nick, because you've been here enough. And also, you don't need history to know that a separate, autonomous country is not Russian just because Russians say it is. There is literally no necessity for me to prove to you by going over the history for the 55th time. Ukraine is not Russian because it fucking isn't. It isn't. Ukraine's not Russian because it never has been. Ukraine's not Russian because there is nothing suggesting it is, other than the fact that Russians just said so. Ukraine is not Russian because, point blank, it just is not. Period. Never was and never will be. Like, why do I have to? Why? Why is Ukraine not Russian? Because 45 million people that live there do not think they're Russian? Don't want to be Russian? Speak Ukrainian? Consider themselves Ukrainian? Have integrity and culture and history? And their own language? And their own traditions? And their own mentality? Because 45 million people are fighting against Russia right now? That's why Ukraine isn't Russian. Because what? You're going to impose onto people to be Russian? Like, hypothetically, let's say Ukraine at some point was Russian. And then there was its own language and its own, like, this is not true, by the way. But let's say hypothetically, let's say Ukraine and Russia were one country. But then in part of that country, there was a group of 45 million people who developed their own language, their own traditions, their own everything. So what? Now we just have to be Russian because Russia says so, but we're completely different people? First of all, Ukraine's older than Russia. Second of all, I understand that you're not doubting. You're asking me a question, but there shouldn't even be a question. Why do Ukrainians keep having to tell you that Ukraine isn't Russian? Here's an answer to your question: because 45 million people do not want to be a part of Russia. Ukraine isn't Russian because there's 45 million people who are Ukrainian and consider themselves Ukrainian, and that's point blank. That is period. There is no more argument that needs to be said. Why is Ukraine not Russian? Because we aren't. Because we, Ukrainian people, are telling you we're not. Anyways, these are Russian reactions to airstrikes in Kyiv. These are all messages that are translated from Russian into English. And here is the proof for all the social media here. Here is the proof. These messages are translated. You can pause and you can read. And this is from telegrams, from Russian telegram chats. Yes, finally, it's happening. How good is this morning, isn't it, pigs? Effing kill gay curse word and don't stop. Don't hold back the rockets. We were waiting for so long for this to happen. No, more and more strikes. Don't stop. We should do it a few times per day. Great action. It is a pity that it's just a little bit of them. Oh yes. Mykolaiv and Odessa regions are asking for it. Why are great chachols not writing anything? Crimea is off, electricity is cut down. Putin. Good morning, swines. Effing finally. Let's wipe Chocholandia from the face of the earth. Hooray! Can we be more precise? 2.5 kilometers is a bit off. Why did we miss this? Bomb the stupid pigs without mercy. Good, let's start with turning Kyiv into moon surface. Took us long. Ho-holes, what's up with your face? Bad morning? That's only the beginning. Beautiful. Isn't it so funny now? Ho-hole is a derogatory slur aimed at Ukrainians. It's basically the same as the N-word. Hooray, we were heard. That's new general. Effing great. Good job, boys. Also, Nick, here's the thing. I mean, like, it did not go over great because 8 months into this invasion, asking why is Ukraine not Russian is offensive. It's incredibly offensive. If you want me to go over history of why it isn't, you can literally do that by either going to my profile or typing into Google history of Ukraine, and you will see why it isn't Russian. But asking me after 8 months of watching me to go over again and remind you why Ukraine isn't Russia, the whole question in itself of why Ukraine isn't Russia is incredibly offensive, because we don't have to explain why we aren't Russia. Again, 45 million people are telling you we are not. And that in itself is enough for it to not be Russia. Even if, let's say, we lived in a parallel reality where Ukraine at some point was Russia, the fact that 45 million people are telling it to F off is absolutely enough. That's argument enough. If today there was an entire, what? It's mind-blowing. At night, Russian troops shelled with incendiary munitions. It will take months to repair the Lviv thermal power plant destroyed by Russia, Mayor Andriy Sadovy said during a briefing. Bulgaria denied its involvement in the bombing of the Kerch Strait Bridge. In particular, the country's government denied claims by Russian propaganda that the truck accused of bombing started its route in Bulgaria. The chairman of the State Security Committee of Belarus, Ivan Tiertel, said that foreign intelligence services are preparing militants for a full-scale invasion in Ukraine. The country's pseudo-authority also fears a nuclear attack by Western countries. Here's where I want to say something. In the beginning of this invasion, Belarus was really, their network of guerrilla resistance was really strong. They were blowing up railroads. They were trying to undermine Russian ammunition supplies through Belarus. And I was really hoping for a lot. And at some point, Belarusians stopped. And I know that it's very scary. And I know that there is a lot at stake. But I think at this point, guys, if you're Belarusian, if you're abroad, if you're Belarusian resistance, if you're Belarusian opposition, please, please stand up. Stand up to this. Stand up to this dictatorship. Do something. Do not let Belarus enter into this war, because your guys are going to be dying on the front lines for literally no reason. For absolutely no reason. General Staff. The Belarusian authorities removed the first batch of 20 T-72 tanks from storage and sent them to Russia. The defense industry complex of Belarus is already involved in the repair of Russian equipment damaged during combat operations. About 30% of Ukraine's energy infrastructure has been hit by Russian missiles since Monday, October 10th, Minister of Energy Herman Halushchenko. The Russian Federal Security Service, FSB, stated that the bombing of the Kerch Strait Bridge was organized by the main Directorate of Intelligence of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine and its chief Kyrylo Budanov personally. They say the explosive device was hidden in rolls of polyethylene wrap. So there are actually x-rays of the truck, and you can see that there are no explosives in that truck. So it actually wasn't like a truck bombing. I'll show you. There is like plethora of evidence as to why these claims are bogus. And I will show you, sorry, let me just find it. There is also a, so first of all, there's an X-ray, and if there was a TNT in there, it would show. Second of all, there was you can see that this truck was checked on the way into the bridge. So if there were any explosives, they would be found out immediately. They had to go through multiple checkpoints in order to get through that bridge. And again, you can see that the truck has nothing of explosive nature in it. Whatever cargo there is doesn't show any sort of explosives within. 1 second. Why can't I find it? Oh my gosh. Nazar sent it to me the other day. I know that it's in this chat, and I know he sent it. It's, we talk so much in the mod chat that it's hard to find. Oh God. Is it really so far back? Huh. Odd. I can't seem to find it. Yeah, the truck driver also seems to have lived. But also, here's the thing. It's not even about the truck driver. It's about... Oh, 1 second. Yeah, actually, that's a very good idea here. It's not on WhatsApp, but it's on Instagram. But here, look, this is the X-ray. This is the X-ray of the truck. And you can see that there is nothing. See, explosives would show up in a different color because everything that is made of a certain material shows up in different colors. And this doesn't show up as there is any explosives on board. I think he's committed war crimes. Biden said he has no intention of meeting with the Russian President Vladimir Putin at the upcoming G20 summit in Indonesia. The US president also does not believe that Putin will use nuclear weapons in Ukraine, but an action plan for such a case is ready. Ukraine transported some of its air defense systems to the south and east as part of successful counterattack, thereby reducing infrastructure protection in other regions. The armed forces of Ukraine liberated 5 settlements in Kherson region, according to Operational Command South. Russians damaged a substation on the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. The nuclear plant is de-energized and running on a generator. On the morning of October 12th, the Dnipropetrovsk substation in the Dnipropetrovsk region was damaged due to a rocket fire by Russian troops. As a result, there was an emergency shutdown of the 750 kilowatt ZNPP communication line Dniprovska. Consequentially, Zaporizhia NPP was completely de-energized. Diesel generators turned on automatically. Energoatom sent a batch of diesel fuel to the ZNPP. However, as of 10 a.m., the Russian side is not allowing the company's convoy of vehicles to pass. The Russians continue to neglect the nuclear and radiation safety of Europe's largest nuclear power plant, threatening the world with a radiation disaster. And that's something that we, for some reason, in the West stopped talking about, but should really not stop talking about, because it's an incredibly big deal. And just because we're not hearing a lot about it doesn't mean that the plant is not still occupied by Russians, and that they're still neglecting all of the rules of conduct around a nuclear power structure. And every day they pose danger. And I'm not going to fearmonger, because realistically, right now, everything is okay. But the fact that there is a terrorist military that's doing nuclear blackmail at this power plant daily, and that's neglecting all of the safety protocols and procedures, is incredibly horrifying. And we need to continue pushing onto our officials to do something about it. Because I know that we all keep forgetting about it, and we all just sort of, out of sight, out of mind. But the thing is, it's not out of mind, it's just out of sight. It's still very much happening, and it's still very much a very, very, very terribly dangerous situation. Andrei Yusov, a spokesman for the main Directorate of Intelligence of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, considers it unnecessary to comment on the accusations by the Russian intelligence services of Ukraine's involvement in the explosion on the Kerch Strait Bridge, since Russian Federal Security Service and the Investigative Committee are fake structures. Their history-tested definition of mass shelling of civilians in peaceful Ukrainian cities. This is worse than a crime. This is a mistake. This is the mistake that the Kremlin forced to make the success of the Ukrainian soldiers, and all those who gave criminal orders to strike with missiles and drones will certainly be punished, according to Ukraine Now. And there is a video that I want to play for you, because you guys know I love Ukraine Now. I think their content is amazing. I think that their bullet point little bullet point video are great, and they do an amazing job of putting down information and present it in a very just fashion. So I'm going to show it full screen on here, as you guys know, and I'm going to also show it to you on the iPad, TikTok. So 1 second. Hopefully this time it's not going to be as difficult as it usually is for me to make this stuff work. Okay. Привіт. Okay, so oh, hi, Kathleen. Okay, look at that. I did not forget to turn on the mic. How do you like that? Мої вітання вам також. Okay. The Russians hit the energy infrastructure in the Kamensky district of the Dnipropetrovsk region. There is a strong fire and destruction there, reports the head of the regional military administration, Valentin Reznichenko. Rescuers are extinguishing a fire, then the power engineers will try to restore the equipment, save electricity at home, at work, wherever it is possible to save it. It is very important now, Reznichenko emphasized. The Russians shelled Nikopol with Grad multiple rocket launchers and barrel artillery all night. A 6-year-old girl, her mother, and another woman were seriously wounded by gunfire. Hi, bartender. Later, doctors reported that the girl's leg was amputated. The 6-year-old child will need surgery and prosthetics. At least 7 were unalived and 8 wounded as a result of this morning's enemy shelling of Avdiivka, Donetsk region, head of the regional military administration, Pavlo Kirilenko. The Russians hit the central market, where there were quite a few people at the time. Such shelling has no military logic, only an unrestrained desire to unalive as many of our people as possible and intimidate others, Kirilenko said. Here is what that looked like. All of the bodies are blurred, but you can get the general picture. On the morning of October 12th, the Ukrainian Air Force destroyed at least 4 Russian attack helicopters in 18 minutes. The Air Force adds the combat operations were conducted against 2 more helicopters, so there is a possibility of other targets being hit as well. NATO will hold another annual nuclear deterrence exercise next week amid Putin's repeated threats to use nuclear weapons. This is routine training which happens every year to keep our deterrence safe, secure, and effective, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said. Russia shelled the Sumy region with artillery. 2 districts were left without electricity, head of the regional military administration, Dmytro Zhivitsky. The village of Chervona, Kherson region, has been liberated by the armed forces of Ukraine. Take a look. The EU did not believe the United States' warnings about the Russian invasion. We didn't foresee that Ukraine was ready to resist as fiercely and as successfully, clearly, as they're doing. We did not believe that this was going to happen. I have to admit that when the Americans were telling us they will attack, we were very reluctant to believe it, said Joseph Borrell, the EU's foreign and security policy chief, during a speech at the bloc's ambassadors' conference in Brussels. Borrell said that U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken called on the phone and said, well, it is going to happen this weekend. And just 2 days later, Russia started bombing Kyiv. Well, clearly you guys did not believe it, and clearly you guys were not prepared, and also clearly you guys did not expect Ukraine to resist at all, because your actions in the beginning were not even pro-Russian. They were just anti-Ukrainian. You didn't see the point in helping us at all, because you were like, you're gonna fall anyway. Why would we help you? You know, it's kind of like the way that, thank you so much, Rita. Thank you. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh, and it has sound too. One of the things that I wanted to say, thank you, Rita. One of the things that I wanted to say was that, you know, it's kind of like, imagine someone's hanging off a cliff and they're barely holding on. And instead of giving them a hand, you're like, they're going to fall anyway. Why would we bother? And then they manage to get the strength and they manage to pull themselves out. And you're like, well, actually, here's a hand. That's just the reaction of the EU, and the way that the EU was reacting, the way that the EU was absolutely willing to throw Ukraine under the bus was so upsetting in the beginning. Hi, Latvia. So here is a person from Latvia saying eugenics. from saying Latvia gave help like weeks before stuff happened, stingers and stuff. Yeah, Latvia and Lithuania were incredibly helpful. The Baltics in general, the Baltics in general have been incredibly helpful. Also, here is a person on Twitch by the name of Angry Cossack UA saying, so it's in Ukrainian, so I'm going to translate. Where do you have the confidence that Musk particularly blocked Starlinks in order to prevent the armed forces of Ukraine instead of using the Starlinks instead of preventing the use of it by Russians? Because Elon Musk actually came out and spoke out and said that he will not let Ukraine use Starlinks in Crimea because he believes that Ukrainian offensive on Crimea would result in nuclear war, and he doesn't want it. Also, earlier, he tweeted saying that he believes that Crimea is a Russian island and it has always been Russian, and Ukraine should just give it back to Russia. And I'm not speculating when I say that Elon Musk I'm not speculating when I say that Musk is blocking satellites because he wants he doesn't want Ukraine to take back Crimea. I'm actually taking it from his words. He quite literally said that. That was his statement. Hi Kherson, привіт. A meeting of the Rammstein format began in the capital of Belgium, Brussels. This is a meeting of 50 countries that are helping Ukraine. Ukrainian troops have changed the dynamics of this war, the Pentagon chief Lloyd Austin. Ukrainian soldiers have liberated hundreds of settlements from Russian occupation and reclaimed thousands of square kilometers of their land. According to him, Russia's attacks only strengthen the Allies' determination to help Ukraine. Elon Musk has blocked the use of Starlink systems in Crimea. The reason for this decision is the alleged fear that an attempt to deoccupy the peninsula could lead to nuclear war, writes Business Insider. Musk himself noted in his tweet that he couldn't comment on battlefield conditions because that's classified. Ukraine received the second tranche of $550 million as part of the emergency response package from the European Investment Bank, worth 1.59 billion euros. It will allow Ukraine to cover the urgent financial needs and repair some of the most damaged infrastructure, including energy infrastructure. The Ministry of Defense of Ukraine sent a romantic postcard to France with gratitude for the Caesar self-propelled guns. I actually find this to be so hilarious. So it says romantic gestures. Just more. I thought it was so funny. I thought it was such a funny thing. I love that they said romantic gestures come in many ways, but for us, the most important one is this. And it's like artillery, air defense. Nothing beats 155 millimeter highly mobile self-propelled artillery. I thought it was like the funniest thing on the planet. Thank you. Please send us more. Oh my god. Jen! Oh, baby lion! Oh, you guys who are not on TikTok, there is baby lion thing, and this baby lion thing is like the cutest little lion thing on the I can't. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm making no sense. Hi Howard. Hi Howard. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there is on TikTok there are these little animation gifts, and there is like a baby lion animation gift. And baby lion, like, okay, lions after Cinny are my favorite things on the planet. Oh my gosh, that also looks like Cinny. Thank you. Thank you, Vero. um, but yeah, so baby lions are my favorite thing after Cinny. Obviously, they're my favorite animals. I've always identified with lions, and I really like lions. And so there was a baby lion, and it makes these little like meow noises, like baby lion noises. And oh my gosh, it was like the cutest thing. And also, yes, I really love lions because Lviv is the city of lions. Well, actually, it's the city of sleeping lions, and it's also created by someone who is who is whose name was Lev, which means a lion. And so it's just like a whole, thank you. That was the cutest little baby lion ever. Jen, you're, oh, Jen. Thank you. Oh, baby lion. Sorry. I know I'm like, sorry, but that was very cute. Oh, baby lion. Okay, well, thank you, Jen. Well, what am I supposed to do now? I'm like a baby lion. You have no idea how happy lions make me, especially baby little lions. Oh my god. Thank you, Jen. You're okay. Well, all right. Moving on to the news that are less fantastic than baby lions. The German Ministry of Defense announced that in the next few weeks, Ukraine will receive additional Mars 2 multiple rocket launchers and PZH 2000 artillery mounts. The Ministry of Defense did not specify the exact number. Hi, Natlin. Switzerland has included 30 individuals and 7 organizations of the Russian Federation in the sanctions list. The website of the federal government reports their assets in Switzerland must now be frozen and transferred to the State Secretariat for Economic Affairs, SECO. The European Union plans to give its newly appointed prosecutors new powers amid fears that the bloc's current law enforcement system will not be able to handle investigations into wealthy Russians trying to evade sanctions. Interesting. So now European Union is going to give their newly appointed investigator prosecutors new powers because they're scared that the bloc's current law enforcement system will not be able to handle investigations into all of those like Russian oligarchs that are evading sanctions. All the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, which was de-energized as a result of the shelling of a remote substation in the morning, the external power supply was restored, said the head of the IAEA, Grossi. Hi, Jeremy. Russian President Vladimir Putin continues to propose launching Nord Stream 2, which was never launched due to the Russian aggression. We just need to turn on the faucet. Well, the faucet. But he probably would say faucet. We just need to turn on the faucet, he said. Yeah, the faucet that, I don't know, sprinkles you with something that catches on fire really fast. I would turn on that faucet, like a hose faucet that just has fuel in it, and then I could accidentally drop a match in your direction or somewhere near you where the wind carries it into your direction. Anyways, the irrecoverable losses of the occupiers in Ukraine amount to more than 90,000 people. This is reported by the publication Важные истории, important stories, with reference to 2 sources in the Russian special services. Hi, Finland. Hi, Sunny. Irrecoverable losses include the dead, missing, those who died of wounds or received injuries that do not allow them to return to military service. Oh my gosh, Jeremy. I still have your YouTube rep in my head. Okay, to my defense, I'm just going to say that I'm a terrible repper. Okay, like we get that. But also one of the reasons why it was so bad and so out of tune is because I could not have the music playing at the same time as I was talking. I had to record it first and then put the music on top of it. So it's super out of tune. But if there was music, I could do it a little better. The Netherlands will give Ukraine anti-aircraft missile systems worth 15 million euros to strengthen the defense of the sky, the Dutch defense minister said. The only result that Putin will achieve is that we will supply even more because of the types of attacks. Canada has announced a $47 million aid package to Ukraine, Canada's defense minister said. First of all, the package will include 500,000 units of winter military clothing, artillery shells in the amount of 15.2 million, provision of satellite communications in the amount of 2 million. France promised to supply Ukraine with 3 LRU MLRS, modernized M270. Did that video work? Where they romanced into it? The Czech Republic will ban Russians with tourist Schengen visas from October 25th. Novinky, Czech Republic says. It's a publication, and that means probably news, because novinky. I don't speak Czech, but I think that it would make sense that that's what it means. Similar word to Ukrainian. Okay, so let's go over Kyiv Independent, and then I gotta run because I have an interview. Mayor, explosion reported in Russian-occupied Melitopol. The Kyiv Independent's Irina Matveyishin explains why the Russian attacks on Kyiv on October 10th were not about the Crimean Bridge. And it is in a YouTube video on Kyiv Independent's channel, and I'm going to put that video, I'm going to put the link to that video in the description right now so you guys can access it after the stream and you can see it easily if you're interested. But it's from Kyiv Independent, and they go over all the reasons why this wasn't about the Crimean Bridge at all and that it was pre-planned beforehand. So I am going to put it in here. Boom. Okay. Why attacks on Ukraine weren't about the Kerch Bridge. Okay. Saved. Yeah, pre-planned by Russia before the Kerch Bridge. Taz is asking, Yulia, any more news from YouTube? No, YouTube is being incredibly vague. Governor says Russian forces rain fire on Nikopol, injuring 3 civilians. Russia's attacks kill 6 in Donetsk Oblast. UK intelligence says Shahed 136 drones can't fulfill deep strike functions that Russia wants. Leak discovered on Russia's oil pipeline, Druzhba in Poland. IAEA, Zaporizhzhia's nuclear plant, has lost all of its external power. It has been renewed now. Russia hits Avdiivka in Donetsk Oblast, killing 7 civilians. General Staff says Belarus sends 20 T-72 tanks to Russia. Could mobilization, battlefield defeats, cost Putin his regime? Russian dictator Vladimir Putin has raised the stakes in his war in Ukraine, and he may be paying the price. This is another article that I actually want to include into the description of the video because it's a very good one as well. And it's talking about Putin's regime becoming less and less stable due to and during mobilization. So Taz is also asking where I could chip in on the item for Tork you mentioned in the last stream. So if you'd like to chip in for the massager for Tork, if you'd like to chip in for the oh my gosh, Theragun, for the professional Theragun that helps with muscle recovery and stuff like that, you can either Venmo me at, okay, Venmo is at Yulia, or you can PayPal me, or sorry, you can PayPal me, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna order it to my aunt's. To my aunt. I'm gonna order the Theragun to my aunt, who's currently in Wales, and she's gonna send it to Ukraine because that's gonna take way less time than me sending it out from the US. Or PayPal, which is going to be Yulia. One second. There we go. Add banner. Boom. Here. Either one of these places. Also, here is Angry Cossack UA talking about. One second, I'm going to read this and I'm going to bring back the banner. But so I found the root of this claim. Bremer said Musk told him he'd been asked by Ukraine's defense ministry to activate Starlink in Crimea, which Russia invaded and illegally annexed in 2014. Bremer said Musk refused given the potential of escalation. Bremer said that, not Musk. Musk tweeted that nobody should trust Bremer. Bremer should show proof, not just saying, I write honestly. Anyway, keep up the good job. Twitch is full of Russian and leftist propaganda. So here's the thing. Yes, but Elon Musk himself said that Crimea belongs to Russia, and Musk himself also said... and Musk himself also said that he is going to. Okay, sorry. I'm like I'm also half my head is in the interview now, but so okay. Elon Musk himself said that Crimea belongs to Russia and that escalating into Crimea will lead to nuclear war, and he's trying to avoid nuclear war. So him not letting Ukraine use Starlink in Crimea is because of that. And also, if you want to say that he is not letting Ukrainians use Starlink in Crimea because he's scared that Russians can get a hold of it, then he wouldn't let Ukrainians use Starlink anywhere on the front lines, because Russians could get a hold of it. Russians are very close to it, so it's not, it just makes no sense. Stoltenberg says air defense to be top priority in NATO support for Ukraine. Finally. Ukraine downs 4 Russian helicopters in 18 minutes. Reuters says Washington to provide Ukraine with $4.5 billion budget support. Germany to give Ukraine additional MLRS howitzers. Netherlands to supply surface-to-air missiles worth $14.5 million to Ukraine. Governor says Ukraine downs 2 kamikaze drones over Vinnytsia Oblast. Привіт, Kyiv. Canada announces additional $47 million in military aid for Ukraine. PM, electricity restored in almost 4,000 Ukrainian settlements. IAEA says Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant's power supply was restored. And that is all that I have for today. I might go live again in the evening. I do still have a couple of minutes. I do want to eat before I do the interview, and I need to set up the Zoom call. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all the new subscribers. Welcome. Really good to see you here. And I am incredibly grateful for all of you showing up every day and listening to the news and watching the news, and especially to everybody who is what we call a regular here. And you guys are a beacon of this community, and this channel would not be what it is without you. And you guys make the channel because you are the ones that this information is for, and you are the ones that help spread it. So thank you very, very much. And you really, truly have no idea how grateful I am for you, and how grateful I am for the fact that you guys help me spread this information every single day and help it reach more people. So thank you very much. I appreciate you more than you will ever know. Alrighty, I have to run because we do have an interview, and I will see you guys later. Bye.